You got items you need to be cleaned and not sure how to do it? Stick around, I'm going to show you. Be right back. Thanks. So how do you clean those items that are delicate and you got to worry about breaking certain parts or whatever? You can't get to certain things, crevices, creases, little things in and out. You got things like this, or you have something like this that needs to be cleaned in there and you don't have the proper stuff to clean it. Well, that's what I'm going to show you right now. But first, before we get involved with cleaning stuff, I want to show you some of the things I have that I use to clean. First, we have a bottle of light cleanser. It's a regular light cleaning solution, which is safe for a lot of materials. I have this sponge that has the Scotch-Brite on it, but it's not the hard, heavy-duty Scotch-Brite. It's very light, okay, and it's also got the sponge backing. Oopsie, sorry. I got this here. It's a clothing brush to brush any lint brush for your clothing. I have another brush here with the bristles are a little more stiffer. A toothbrush, a clean one. I recommend you get one of these. If you have one, if you don't have one, pick one up for $1 or whatever. They come in very handy, which I'll show you in a little bit. And if your wife or daughter has an extra one of these laying around, a cosmetic brush, you might want to hold on to these, but it's got to be clean, of course, no powder on it. Okay. Air duster. Masking tape. And last but not least, my favorite, steamer. This thing here works like a charm. When it heats up, blows the steam. Really good to have, and I'm going to show you what I use it for. Okay, we're talking about cleaning certain items that you can't get at. Let's say, for example, you want to try to clean here, and you can't because, if you have a big enough hand, you can't get it in there into the fine parts, So you might want to do is take a toothbrush and just very gently loosen up any dust that's in there or any fine, if there is any debris in there of any sort. Just loosen it up, right, with the toothbrush. Take the duster. You see the dust came out of there. You see dust is blowing around now. Okay. This stuff I'm prepping prior to mailing it out. Now I cleaned this here, but I didn't give it a real thorough clean because I knew I was going to make this video, and I just want to show you the things I do to clean things of this nature. When I got this here, it had a lot of dust. I'm using this for an example. This one here, this is a Alice in Wonderland snow globe, they call it, and it's really a nice piece. It's up on auction, on eBay right now. I'm just going to zoom in really quick here and show you what it looks like. It's really a nice piece. If you collect these things, I had pointed out to the people on eBay that the rabbit over here, I'm going to use the toothbrush, his ear over here is broken. And I told the person, the people on eBay, who's ever looking, whatever, in the description and plus the video, that if you're a person that you could probably, that's into repairing, you could probably have this to get fixed. It's a nice piece. And I put it in, I started the auction off at $69, and believe it or not, I got 15 watches on it, believe it or not. There's also a string of lights, I left them on the side over there, that they go across. That's why I told them there too. You can't see the wire, it's somewhere along here. You have to string the wire in there. It takes 2 batteries that go in here, I believe. It's either 2 or 3, I'm not sure, on the bottom here. And that's where this button would be required to turn the lights on and off. But it is a musical box. See? I don't know if you can hear that. Well, you got the music in the background. Sorry about that, folks. But I didn't make this video in regards to advertising this piece. This is for cleaning purposes. Now we're going to end up hearing this now, right? Okay. Anyway, all right. Here's what I want to talk about. All right. What I want to do is I want to clean. Now with the brush, you could get so much dust out of here. Okay, you can get a lot of dust out of here. But sometimes the dust gets so fine and it's embedded in there. You want to loosen it up the best you can. So that's where my steamer comes in. And what you do is you don't pour it on it. You do is just hit it like this, very lightly. Okay, and you can see the steam come out. You can see it's like a jet steam, and it'll make that noise. And what you do is very lightly, you take your brush and brush the dirt. If there's any dust on it, you brush it out. Now you might say, yeah, but you might just be wetting it, and it may just be settling back in there. Well, that's the whole idea of the brush. I mean, we don't want it to settle in there. We want it to, extricate it. We want to eradicate it. We don't want it in there. That's the whole idea of doing this here. The purpose of the steam is to loosen up any dirt that's in there or dust that's in there, to loosen up and then brush it out. What you want to do prior, I should say, I'm sorry about that. You want to do prior is, if there is any dust in there prior, clean it out prior to doing this here. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going to take this steamer and steam over here and get rid of any little fine dust, or if there is any dirt or anything that stuff has been laying around or embedded in there, you just take it out. Steam ain't going to hurt it. Okay, steam is not going to hurt this piece. So if people are sitting there that are watching and saying, hey, I was thinking of buying that, now the guy's spraying steam, it's not going to hurt it. Trust me, it's not going to hurt it. Okay, there's nothing electrical in here. That wire for the battery, the wire for the little lights, has been removed. Okay, it's over here. There's no batteries in there, so nothing's going to short out. Okay, here's the wire for the little lights. Okay, you're not going to short anything out. You're not going to burn anything. There's nothing. There's no batteries in here or anything of that nature, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so if you are a person, a potential buyer of this Alice in Wonderland snow globe, nothing is getting damaged on it. I'm just showing people as a demo how to clean it. Okay, so what we do is you take the toothbrush. Again, like I said, a clean one. We want to buy a clean one. You don't want to use one. I'm sure you could if you wanted, but this is going to a person, so we want to use clean stuff. And what we're going to do is we're just going to lightly, with the brush, just brush out any of the dust that's there on it. Now, you got a small figurine like this here. Now, like that rabbit, I don't want to touch that with a rag, or do I want to touch it with a brush? So what I'm going to do is, this is where the cosmetic brush comes in. The cosmetic brush is very soft. Soft to the touch. You people know how it is. Ladies know how it is. Let me just move this back so you see what I'm doing here. For the little characters like this here, you could steam them, right? And just like very lightly, just take off any dust like that. And the reason why you want to use this brush is because they're delicate. If you use something hard, he's got a little candle on his head. You could end up breaking if you use a hard bristle. I wouldn't use this to it. If I use it aggressively, I might snap it. The rabbit already has a snapped ear, broken ear, but I bought it that way. Okay. So what you're going to do is you just steam them up a little, and you don't have to keep the steam constantly. And you're just going to do is just clean a little. You're just going to hit it very lightly. If there is any dirt on there, you're going to loosen it up very lightly. Now, here there's like a little fence. Now, here, on this part here, there's a little piece that sticks up. Again, you got to be careful with that, because if you use a very hard bristle brush, you could snap that little piece. This won't snap it. It's like feathers on here. Okay? Alright, and the same thing, you want to just clean over here and just loosen up any dirt that may be around there. Okay? Alright, very lightly. And you go around with it, and you loosen up any little dirt, remove any fine dust. Okay? Any fine dust you have in there, you loosen it right up. Same thing, you go all around it. Now on the back of this here, you could use this very gently. Well, let's go this way here. And just hit it very lightly. Okay. This is just to loosen up any, you know, if you're the buyer of this item, you know what I'm talking about. When it sits on your mantelpiece or wherever you're going to put it, you're going to have dust laying on this thing, and it's going to get into all these little creases and crevices. And believe me, it's going to be a nuisance cleaning it. I have something like that once before, and I had to clean it up, and it was a nuisance. Now along here, I can see like this dust a little in here, and the top here. So I could just do this, again with the steamer, and use the toothbrush on this because it's hard. And just clean it up like that very, very gently. Okay. This steamer has other purposes besides just doing this. It's not, you know, it's not going to just, it's not for that purpose only. And I'm hitting the back of the chair a little here. That's solid, I could hit that. If the figurines, I don't want to hit. And this is a snow globe, so if you got like, now this like have like little sticky stuff on there on the glass, you might want to just do that there, take off any smudges and stuff on the glass, make it nice and clean. Steam cleans everything nice, it really does. That glass is shiny. I don't know if you can see it, you can't see it over there, but it's shiny, nice and clean. Like this little guy here, this little globe here. Okay, it's just steam. It's not going to hurt anything. And you just take that steam there and just clean off this little guy, the glass that is. Like it's nice and clean. It's like brand new. Okay, and the same thing with Alice. Now, with Alice in Wonderland here, again we got to use the brush because she's a fine character, and we just want to remove the dust. We just want to remove the dust. We don't want to do anything more than that. Okay. Now, when you get it, if you got intricate tools, you like little brushes to get in there and clean, and you could probably do a better job, that more power to you. This is how I clean and prep the stuff before it's going to go out. It's still on auction, so I have plenty of time yet. You know, it's not going to go just yet, so I have plenty of time to, you know, putz around and clean up here. But the whole idea of the steam, I said, well, why just take a rag and do it? You know, look, if you want, to be honest with you, you could probably clean this here with a little spritzer bottle too. That's another thing. How I came across with this here is I have one of those heavy-duty steamers that steam my clothes. The excess water that's on the base here, very gently, you could wipe it right off. Not a lot of water, but you know, the steam. When I bought my steamer, this came with it. This device came with it, and that's how I ended up adopting this here. Okay, very, very good tool to have. Very good tool to have. Okay, now what I want to do is now. Okay, so you got the basic format on cleaning that. On an intricate thing like this here, a very delicate piece of material item. Okay, we're just going to move this to the side. Actually, let's move this guy here. We're going to do a little role reversal, and we're going to move this guy right over here. This is heavy, by the way. This is close to, I think, 9 pounds or something like that. It's heavy. Okay. Now you see I got other things lined up here too. I want to show you what I use steamer for other things. Now, the same thing with this item here. Here we have a clock radio. The reason why I brought this out is because it's electronic. So what we want to do is we want to clean this here, but we don't want it to get, we don't want to get any water in here. We don't want even steam to get in here. What we want to do is we want to clean it, and we want to clean it very gently, and that's where the toothbrush will come in handy. Now, when it comes to cleaning stuff like this, common sense will tell you, dictates, do not spray in here, because here's where the speaker is, all the electronics are in here. You'll fry it up, it's shot. Away from it, and you're always going to do when you're doing it, I'm not saying turn it 360, but just away from the item itself. Give it a light spritz on the rag, very light. You don't want it to saturate, you don't want it to drip off the rag into the thing there. And you're going to do very gently. You can just go like this, go around it, and in the crevices, just clean out if there's any dust in there. Okay? You're going to clean out any dust in there. That's it. Move it that way. Now for his boots, you can't get to the boots. I mean, like, you know, you don't have to think to clean it. Wipe it off on a rag. Always have a clean rag with you, because you want to wipe the brush. You want to wipe this. You don't want this. You want this to be dry as possible too. you just want to get the dust out from his feet, okay, from the boots. Just go like that, very gentle. Okay. All right, you do the same thing with that. All right, like this here. Okay, same thing. You got. You want to clean the other side away from the item. Very gently clean. Use a mild cleanser, and you just clean. You don't want any abrasive material in there. You don't want no Ajax. If you have a stubborn stain, do the best you can. Tell the buyer that there's a stain on the item. I tried to get it off, and I had no luck with it. So just let them. If they get it and they want to mess around with it and try to clean it up, and they mess it up, that's their thing. They did it, not you. Be upfront and honest with the people. That's what I always say. Take your rag, clean it like this. You clean it the best you can. Don't use the brush on clear glass, on the plastic. Now this does have light scuff marks on it, but that's not for me. That's why I bought it. Okay, so don't use a brush or this on the glass. You'll scuff it up, you'll dull it out, it'll look horrible. You know, if you're going to use a sponge, I wouldn't even recommend using a sponge. Okay, the only time you can use the brush is when you're getting between the keys and you brush away and a downward motion. See if there's any dust on there, it'll fall off it, of course. Okay, and stay away from the glass, this clear plastic. Stay away from it as best you can. Same thing with this. Okay, same thing with that. Brush away from the glass with the plastic, and brush down. Any excess dust, take it and clean it like that. All right. Now this has lights on the side, so again, I'm holding it away, so it's okay. Now we want to clean that up. We'll make sure that's clean. Might be a little dusty. When you turn it on, there's lights that go on around here. And I'll just show you really quick what I'm talking about here. I know this thing can zoom in a lot better than that. I'm sorry, folks. I'm a one-man band here, so you got to bear with me. But yeah, there's lights that go around here. I could really zoom this in, so I don't want to get too crazy here. But around here, there's lights here. I wouldn't use the brush on that either. Not this, because you could scratch this. You could scratch the glass over here. So don't use this on this. Use just a plain, damp cloth with a little cleanser on it. Same thing on the side here. Okay. You don't want to go crazy, and you don't want to scratch this thing up. Now, my thing is, if you're going to use the sponge with the abrasive with the Scotch-Brite on it, and you have a stubborn stain on it, because sometimes you do get stains on these things, and you can't get it off with the rag or the cleanser, you take a little of this on the corner, a little dab, right, and very gently, don't put pressure on it. Don't put pressure on it. Okay, what you want to do is very gently, zooming in again. Okay, you want to do very gently. Just take the corner, the tip, and just go back and forth wherever that little scuff mark, not scuff mark, that dirt mark is. Very light. Let the brush do the work. Don't put pressure on it, because I'll tell you what. And don't keep rubbing. Do not keep rubbing, because this. See this here? And you take your dry rag or semi-dry rag. See how it's still shiny? Right? It's still shiny, right? If you keep rubbing with that brush, or with that sponge, with that abrasive thing on there, that Scotch-Brite, this will take the luster right off and it'll be dull. You'll still see it's shiny. Okay? You do it very lightly. Alright? Very lightly. Okay? Anything that you can't get your hands in, anything you can't get your hands in, with the toothbrush, very gently, clean the pods or whatever here, the little things like that. You get like crevices you can't get into. Let the brush do the work on that part, and just take it and just clean it up. Okay. You don't want to go crazy with it. You want to clean it, but you want it to look like it came out of the store. You want that nice clean look. Okay. You don't want to have it where you send it to the person and say, "Oh my God, I got this thing that's filthy." This is what I do on all my things I send out. I make sure, for the most part, I clean them 99.9%. I get whatever dirt I can out. I'll do my best to get it out, okay? The other thing is, if you get spots where you can't get at it, that's where the duster comes in. That's where the duster came in with this, just before when I showed you in the beginning, when I opened up the segment here. I hit over here really quick, right, in the inside, and I took the duster, dusted it out. Same thing. Okay? You don't need to go crazy with it. You just want to remove the dust. You want to get it to the buyer. The buyer takes it out of the box, says, "Hey, this thing looks nice and clean. It's like brand spanking new." That's what we want. We want the buyer to be satisfied. We're making this concerted effort for the buyer. We want the buyer to be happy, extremely happy. Okay? So now, here again. Now here's where this little brush comes in, the cosmetic brush. Here you have the guy. You don't want this here because, you know what, the reason why you don't want to use rags on things like this here is because see this little thing here? It's plastic. You put this here and you go, "Oh, I'll clean it with a rag, I'll get around it, don't worry about it." And you're not paying attention and you pull back on this thing, you're going to snap this. You're going to snap this. So what are you going to do? You're going to tell the you got to tell the buyer, unless you're going to leave it broken. You got to tell the buyer. I was cleaning the figure and the rag got caught on it and broke off a piece of it. That's going to make the buyer very happy. It may make the buyer want to cancel out the order. Now, again, this is very light, okay? Very light. If you got dust on there, very lightly, you just dust it. You want to use a light brush. If you don't want to use something coarse like this, because this here, the bristles can get caught in here, snap this, maybe break this. Very delicate. This is a delicate piece, but a little bit, but to me anyway. You might say, people might say, "No, not really. You could be a little rough with it." I look at it as a delicate piece. Okay, so that's what I would do to clean off any dust. Because what are you going to do? You're going to go like this, trying to get the rag in there and clean it. You could try it if that's what you want to do, but I don't do things that way. I'm trying to protect this thing and keep it as clean as possible, and without causing damage. I don't want to cause any damage whatsoever. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, after we put our brush, we did what we had to do with this here. He's pretty cleaned up. That's my segment on cleaning delicate items or whatever. This here is to show you how. The reason why I use these two as examples is because this has all crevices on, like all these little impregnations in, what do you want to call it, within the trees, and sometimes things like that are hard to clean. I mean, even with the brush, you could clean it. The dust might be deeply embedded in there. That's why I use the steamer. The steamer comes in handy for that. It doesn't hurt anything. If anything, it disinfects and cleans. Steam is clean. It cleans really good. You wouldn't use a steam gun on this, the bottom. If you just say, "Well, it's just steam," I wouldn't put any steam near this here because I can look in here right now, see electrical wires and everything here. Okay, so you don't use the steam on that. Do like I tell you. Use the rag. These are the things I have. These are what I use. This is how I clean my items, delicate items, and so forth. Now, I guess something blew out of that thing there because I got it on my hat. You never know what you're going to blow out of these things, right? Okay, a little piece of something. Okay, so now we get to cleaning the hat. Okay. This hat's new. Okay, it's a new hat. And the way I clean it is I use one of these brushes, dusting it. It doesn't have to be clean, it doesn't have to be washed, it's not worn, this is a brand new hat. And when you get it, of course, we all want things to be perfect. In other words, when the buyer gets it, we want the buyer to be happy and say, "Hey, look, this is nice, it looks right." When you get the hat, go in one motion. Okay? go in one motion with it. You might say, why go in one motion? That's the best way to do it, because you go back and forth, back and forth. You know, you might ruin the material, affect it. Just go in one motion. Let the brush do the work. Don't, you know, you have to clean it. You have to scrape the material so bad where you're gonna, you know, let it go light. Let the brush do the work. Okay. You don't have to strain yourself. Now, if you have a hat that's got creases in it or whatever, for whatever reason, this is where the steamer comes in. I don't have one of those dummy heads where you could put it on there. That would be a good thing, because then you could turn it around and do it. But I don't have one. So what I do is take the steam again, just steam it up like this, and you could just pupper it out like that with your hand. Okay. Now, what I want to tell you guys is this. If you're doing something like this, you're steaming the hat to get it shaped in there. Okay, want to puff it out. Do me one favor. If you do it with a steamer, if you do have a steamer and you do it with a steamer, and you're going to sell it, the hat is for sale, let it sit out for a little while before you put it in a box, or I wouldn't put it in a bag, but I have shipped hats in bags, you know, in bags, in bubble wrap bags, you know, the envelopes. But if you're not gonna send it out right away, it's always good to probably let it sit overnight. And I'll tell you why, because when I sell stuff like this, I like to, in some cases, not all, wrap plastic around it and put it in a box and then ship it out. I think you're going to get the drift. If you wet it too much, you soak it up, because this will make it get wet, depending how close you get and how long you keep it on there. It will get wet. And if you wrap a bag around here of plastic and then put it in a box, all that moisture is going to build up in there. It might have an odor when it gets there. And the last thing you need is a buyer saying, I received a hat from you guys, and it came back and it was all wet and it had like a mildewy smell. I'm not saying it's going to turn to mildew right away, but you never know. Okay, you never know. This hat, I'm not going to put it in any bag. Or when I clean the hats though, I put them in a bag and I put them on top of each other, so they both will keep themselves puffed up. You know what I'm saying? If you're just dusting with the brush, you know, and you clean it like that, you're not steaming it. After you get it cleaned up, you know, the dust off, whatever, then you put it in a plastic bag. But at least it's dry. Don't put it in when you just did the steamer. That's not a good thing to do. Okay? So keep that in mind when you're doing this here. This here has like the word Angry Birds is embroidered. Like it's like it looks like it's stitched, or I don't know if it's stitched, or you know, one of those glue things. And it has like a rubbery or like a plastic type of thing here. I wouldn't play too much with it. When you have something like this, I don't think it's a good idea to use a steamer near it. You know, if you're going to steam the brim is one thing, the back of it, but don't steam this type of material, because it's like a rubbery thing. It looks like it was an iron-on transfer. Okay, and I would think over time, depending how this is, well, I don't know how well made it is, I would think over time that this would probably eventually peel off. Okay, so just keep that in mind when you're doing it. All right, now if you get a hat that has lint on it, that's where this guy comes in. Yeah, I know you're saying you can go to the store, you can buy one of those roller things. That's true. That's absolutely true. I like to do it this way. I use the two fingers, the middle finger and the index finger. Wrap it like this, that, like peace, and I got control over it. The brims on these hats usually get dusty. See the motion? Like that. So all you want to do, take the dust off. And you say, why would a new hat get dusty? It gets dusty. A brand new car, you buy a brand new car and it sits for a while, you're going to see dust in there. You know, things get dusty. The same thing with this. You got lint on the back of it. You could try brushing it out. But for the most part, you take the tape and do this. Always works. Hat always looks good. You can see it. Hat looks nice. Okay. Looks really nice. Okay. Nice and clean. There you go. Brim is nice and clean. Okay, that's what you want. Now this hat, you might say, why do you got two hats there? This one here, this hat is more on the fuzzy side. It's got like a velour feel to it. Okay, it's not a velour hat, instead it has a velour feel to it. Okay, it's got that type of texture to it. These hats pretty much get pretty dusty very easy. Depending if you leave them on a shelf, on a hat rack, or whatever, they have an opportunity to get, to get dusty pretty quick. The same thing, and again, when you're brushing the hat, brush it one side like that. Okay, always brushing that motion. Don't go back and forth, because then you might cause a wear on the fabric, whatever the material, and you might ruin. You want this to look primo. You want it to look like it just came out of the hat factory. Okay, you want it to look really nice. The same thing here. Now, if you do have any lint, just very gently brush it off. Okay. If the hat is got like marks, not marks in it, but like where it has like a crease in it. Let's say it's got a crease in it. It doesn't really matter. I'm just saying, but this is just for yourself and just to help yourself out. If you do get these hats, that's where the steamer comes in. And again, you're just going to give it a light steam. Okay, a light steam. All right. We don't want to drench the hat. We just want to give it a light steam. Puff it out with your hands. Okay. Now this hat and that hat will stay out overnight to make sure, even though it feels dry to the touch, I'm still going to leave it out just to play it on the safe side. When it's thoroughly dry, I'll put this hat with all the other hats, because I got other hats on there for sale. I'll put these in the bag with the other hats, and it'll keep it in that shape. Okay, that's where the steamer comes in. So we'll leave that guy on the side. And again, like I said, remember, if you got lint on hat, this one's pretty clean, don't have it. Remember, just take this tape, masking tape, and just dab very gently. You're not going to get any adhesive on a hat. You're not going to get any glue from the sticky thing, the tape. It's just going to pick it up. It's going to pick up any fine lint. And I suggest for yourselves, I know when I sell these hats, I give them the once over. I'm going to make sure there's no dust on there when I cover it up with the plastic, and I'm going to make sure everything is copacetic before I send it out. I'm not going to send it out like, with dust on and stuff like that. I want to make sure it's really clean. Last thing I want to talk about is, again, you're probably wondering, well, why does the guy use a toothbrush and all that stuff? I showed you some of the parts I used the toothbrush and the other brush for. Well, this brush here, the reason why I took this brush out is when I get those keyboards, sometimes I can't get this little toothbrush in it. It only goes so deep in there. You know what I'm saying? The keys might be up to here and it'll only go that far. You can't get in all the way in. So this is where I use this. I would take a keyboard. 9 out of 10 the keyboards I get are like brand new. Very gently, I don't steam it. I'll take a damp cloth with a mild cleanser on it. I mean mild, because you don't want to damage the keyboard or the keys. I don't spritz the keyboard, so I'm not worried about that. But what I would do is take this here, spritz it on there, rub the keys very gently with the cleanser. It's not going to get no water in because it's on a cloth. Rub the keys, rub the keys very gently. Then I take this medium to hard bristle brush in this direction. Here's the keys, right? The keys this way, and go into it like that. And I hold the keyboard either on the side, and then you're saying, well, why am I doing that? Sometimes, I think it's on 2 occasions, I had picked up a keyboard that was fairly clean. And when I was moving it around to clean it, I was moving upside down this way to clean it because I want to make sure I get all the keys, clean it up. it looked like somebody ate cookies over it. So I said, with that, I can't get this toothbrush in there. I have a vacuum cleaner. I tried vacuuming out with the brush on it. Sometimes you can't get out, and I'm over there moving. I hear it's rattling back and forth. So what is that? What could be loose in a keyboard? It's in a keyboard. So I'm cleaning it, and eventually it looked like a little, I don't know what it was, a little pebble or something, looked like a little rock or something. Something popped out of there. So with that, I said, you know what? Let me just take the brush and go through all the keys very gently. And, you know, if there's any dust, and believe me, this is where this comes in, the duster. If you're going to sell keyboards, get yourself a can of this duster. Comes in very handy. It's very handy for a lot of things anyway, especially if you're in this line of work. You want to clean stuff up. You want things to go out nice, you know, with no problems. So anyway, that's where this brush comes in. So you probably wonder when I showed you this brush, I didn't really use on anything. I mean, outside of the back of here. But that's what I use this brush for, to clean keyboards. It's a good thing to have. Now, you notice I have a little stuffed bear here. I could have got a bigger stuffed animal, but I'm showing you this little teddy bear here. And the reason I'm showing this little teddy bear is I want to show you with the steamer how I clean a little thing like this. Now, you could picture on a big scale, but picture on it right now, we're just going to do a little scale. This little teddy bear has the little ruffled shirt, what do you want to call this thing back here, and it won't stay down. So, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to sell this thing, but I would like it to look something like this, you know, like that, right? So what are you going to do with it? You're going to wet it? You're going to put it like soak it in water? You're going to, you know, sew it down, stitch it down so it stays stitched like that? No, not me. I'm not anyway. So I know it's that type of material that, I don't know if it's like a nylon, polyester feel, whatever to it. You want to keep it down as much as possible. So what I do is take the steamer. Now you might be saying, well, now you're gonna get the teddy bear wet. Well, not really. I mean, it's almost the same principle as cleaning the hat. We're just going over very lightly. We don't want the teddy bear to be soaked. Matter of fact, he's still dry. And what we want to do is, I guess the right way to do this is to either pin it like this, or hold it like that, right? Now you might say, what's the big deal, right? What are we making a big deal over a teddy bear? It's just because if you're going to sell something on a bigger scale, you don't want the thing to be all wrinkled, okay? So that's where the steamer comes in. All right, just enough to keep the material down. Okay. Now it's damp. You can see I held it on there for a while for this, you know, for the steam to hit it to, you know, get to where it's got to be. It's gonna stay wrinkled. Okay. I'm just trying to show you though, with that steamer, you could fix things like this. You could also steam things. I'll give you an example. Let's say, now you ever go in thrift stores, sometimes you see me, I see dusty bears and stuff like that, they're dusty. Now with something like this here, you could take it and you know, really quick, right? Just get a little steam. Take your brush, your toothbrush, right? And just brush out. It's steam, it's not gonna hurt it. We're not, and you don't, you might say, yeah, but you're gonna make it wet. Believe me, it feels touched to the dry right now, okay? And if you go like this with it, with the brush, and you brush it out, you brush dust off it like that, you might know what I'm talking about. If you go to thrift stores or whatever, you might come across a stuffed animal that has dust on it, okay? And, you know, you could take a rag. I don't really particularly care for a rag. I don't think a rag is going to do much. I mean, you can, but I mean, if it has a stain on it, yeah, you're not going to put this on. But, I mean, I don't really care too much. I'm not saying I don't care about the teddy bear, but I could use this mild cleanser. Let's say the teddy bear did have a little stain on it. I would just take a little like this. I don't want too wet. And I would just very gently clean that area. as you can see here. Now you can see, like, you might see like a little soapy water on it, whatever, like that. If you can see that, it's got a little soap on the back of his head. Okay, then I would take the brush. It's got a nice scent to it, and just go like this, right? You don't want to use bleach. Make sure you, whatever cleanser you use, you don't use bleach. Okay, and you just brush down like that. You can just pat it out. Now, I don't know what type of material it is, but it feels dry. Okay, it feels pretty dry to me. The same thing. If you get a teddy, if you get like an animal, like a little stuffed doll, not like this size, but you want to clean it. Again, you could just like this, go like this with it. Okay. Take the brush, right, like that. And you'd be surprised how it looks. It looks like, it'll look like brand new. And you just take the cloth, damp cloth, whatever, and just dry it up. If the teddy bear or whatever has clothing, it's too wrinkled, there you go. You just want to steam it up a little. There you go, like that. Alright. Not too much, we don't want to soak them. And you just want to puff it out a little like that. Okay? Now you take the wrinkles out. And you got a nice little animal there, nice little stuffed doll that looks pretty decent, pretty clean. Okay? And that's how I clean delicate things. You know, that's how I clean like little things of this nature. That's why I have these different types of things going over, you know, with you really quick. The little brush, the little brushes I have, the toothbrush, the steamer, which is a pretty good tool to have. If you got something that's got like grime on it, or not grime, but something that's really hard to loosen up and you don't want to use a cleanser on it, what more could you want than using a natural steam? You know, I mean, this thing works great. You know, you can't beat it. I mean, it's really nice. And, you know, it gives steam, but it doesn't get it where you're so saturated. Now, if I stay here for like 5 minutes, my hand's going to drip. But it really, this is a real nice tool to have. I got this accessory with the Conair. I bought one of those heavy-duty steamers with a big jet head on there. I mean, that one there really does a big job. This is like portable. I guess if you're going somewhere and you got a shirt or a blouse or something, you always want to put the steam on it and steam it up, just getting wrinkles out. That's where this comes in handy. But steam does clean things really nice, though. You know, they have a commercial on one of those infomercials on. They show you this guy using steam to clean all the grease and grime off the kitchen and stuff like that. So I guess that's where I got the idea from. But it really works good. That's my cleaning tip for gentle things, you know, very delicate things like that. I mean, I know this thing's a lot more delicate than this Star Wars figurine and that there. The reason why I picked this, the other thing here, the Alice in Wonderland snow globe, is because with this, you know, you have a lot of little nooks and crannies in here, so to speak. So to get these things out, get them clean, you could also spritz it too. You don't have to buy a steamer. I mean, hey, look, you could just take this, a clean bottle like this, fill it up with water, and spritz it that way, and just do the same thing. I like the steam. I have it. I would have probably bought one anyway, but I have it. I'm going to use it. But if you don't have it and you're on a budget, the only reason why I got this thing is because it came with the unit. Or else I would have probably held on to the one I have, or being a very conservative person as I am, I'd probably use this, take the cleanser, well, I wouldn't have this cleanser in there, use this and and not even worry about the steam, but just do the same thing. It's the same process. The only thing is one's steam, one's cold water. But that's my suggestions. That's how those are the things I use to clean. Going over it one more time, a lint brush for your clothing, a sponge that has the Scotch Guard on it, but this is not the heavy duty stuff. And the other back is sponge, right? A cosmetic brush for soft stuff, like I said, delicate. See, I can go over this thing here, I don't have to worry about snapping it. If I went over with this thing here, I could probably snap this down or break this little thing on the guy's helmet here. So you want to get a cosmetic brush, toothbrush, preferably brand new. They do get, you know, you will get dusty and stuff like that, but you could always clean it. You could always throw it in bleach, you know, clean it up. And that would be your toothbrush for strictly your cleaning your items that you pick up, used items. A hard bristle brush like this, well, not hard, but this is hard to soft, whatever. This is good if you're going to clean like stuff that's, well, like I said, the keyboards, I usually clean in between the keys with it. I need something high. So the keyboards, sometimes they're deep, a little deep. This ain't going to cut it, so I use this. So I just go like this with it and clean up any dust that's in there, okay? And like I said, we went over the air duster, cleanser, tape to clean the lint, take the lint off. And that's basically it. I hope this cleaning tip helps on cleaning, you know, delicate items or items that have nooks and crannies in there. I hope this was some help to you, give you a little pointer on it. And if you like what I do, subscribe to my channel. If you think this information I provided for you today was helpful in any way, give it a thumbs up. And basically, that's what I want to share with you. So, if you have any questions, please email me at rjpasini@verizon.net, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Thanks again for stopping by and checking out my channel, and I hope this information was helpful to you. Have a great day, have a great night. You take care now. Bye.